Hello, my friends. Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can make your own language translator using Python. And then we're going to be using the TKinter library so that we can actually have a very nice GUI interface. GUI or GUI is just a graphical user interface. So it gives you like an interface to interact with your Python. It's just not terminal. It looks really nice. You'll see that if you haven't really worked with that yet. I'm just gonna walk you through that. Okay, so the first step would be see if we can actually like translate anything. To do that, I'll be using the Google Translator. So what we need to do is that we can go from deep translator import Google Translator. I'm just gonna import it as GT Google Translator because I don't really want to, type Google Translator every time I want to use that. Let's see if I have the package installed. If I run this, it says, okay, no, it's not DO, it's actually Deep Translator. If I run this, it's okay, it knows it. I have it installed. If you don't, it's easy. Just go pip3 install whatever the name of the package is, and it installs it for you. But I already have it installed, so it should be good. It's actually a very simple thing to do. So what we need to do is just we go translated text or any other variable name as you want is GT. That's the Google Translator that I defined here, or I imported the library. And then you give it a source equals English, because I'm translating from English to, I guess you go target. Yes, target equals, I don't know, French. And so it gets the input in English and translate it to French. You can obviously change this option to, I don't know, whatever language you want. And you basically just go translate and then give it the text that you want to translate, right? Like you can go hello. And then like if I print the output, print the translated text, right? Let's see if it actually works. So yeah, hello, that's like bonjour in French. I can change that to, I don't know, I think the E was for German. That's like Deutsch. If I do this now, it says hello, which is like the German way of saying hi. But it doesn't really have to be just a single word. You can actually give it a whole sentence like, hi, my name is Sam. And if I run this now, it says, hello, if Sam, I don't know if I pronounce it right or wrong. Don't be picky on my English. Sorry, on my German. Well, my English as well. But anyway, so this is how you can do the translation. So translating itself, it's an easy job to do. Like you provide a sentence you want to translate and it does it for you, just like how GUI Translate does it. But the main point of this video is actually to show you how we can actually use the GUI interface and the TKinter library. So I'm just gonna go from TKinter import everything, right? And I don't need this just yet. So the TKinter library is what we're gonna be using for the GUI interface making, so that you can interact with your Python code through a GUI. It's much easier. It's like Windows and Linux. Like if you're not really used to terminal coding, then it's gonna make your life easier. So to do that, I'm just gonna create a window, right? Like it's a GUI, so it has to have a window. I'm just gonna call it root. That's like a very popular name that people use. It's called TK. So what we're doing here is that we are generating a window. So it's like we're creating an object, right? So it has different properties. You can go root the title and then like give it a title, right? I'm just gonna go language translator. And I can also give it a size. I could just go root dot geometry and then be like, this is going to be 500 by, I don't know, 150. And it's good for now. And then like to execute that and see how it looks, you can just go root the main loop, right? Let's see what it gives us. If I do this, if I run that now, and as you see, it opens this. It's a window. It's the title is language translator, and the geometry is the size that we have here. All good. Okay, so the next step is that we want to add a label. Like we want to add different widgets, right? But the first thing is like to add a label that says, hey, like type in whatever you want to translate. So I'm just gonna go label equals like any variable name, honestly. Label, this is a known word because like we imported from TKinter. So label, and then I'm gonna go for root, and then text equals, please type in what you want to translate. Okay, sounds good. And then I called it label, and I go that grid. So like it gives me grid so I can like position other stuff that I add relative to the position of this one in here. Let's see how it looks now. So step by step as we go run it and see the changes. If I run it now, cool. So it opened the window for me and the label that I wanted is created and it's added here. Now the next thing that I want is that I want to add a data entry so that you can actually input your sentence or your word in there. How do we do that? We can go and do something like, I'm just gonna call it the original text that equals entry. Well, that's not entry. Entry. That's also, as you can see, it's like a known word because it's from the TKinter library. So it's also from root. As you see, like this is the syntax for that. So width, it's just like how wide it is. I'm just gonna go 20 for now, but like obviously you can change that later. And original text, that grid. So this dot grid, as I said, is just like give me the option to position this data entry thingy relative to, you know, everything that I'm going to add to this root window. So I'm just going to go column equals 0 and row equals 1. So in column 0 and row 1, I want to add this data entry. Let's see what happens now. If I run this, it opens this. Oh, and you can see here that you can put in your sentence or whatever you want, right? Cool. So far, so good. We can input something. The next thing to do is to actually get that input and do something with that. In this case, we want to translate it. Okay, how can we do this now? Let's see. What I want to do is that I want to go and create a list of target languages. I want to be able to say, okay, I can translate to this and that language, for example, and make a menu bar for that, right? Like, let's see how that goes. I'm going to go target language equals, and I'm going to make a list. So I want to be able to translate to French, to German, and to Spanish, for example, right? So this is okay, and then we go here, and then we go select language equals string var of root. So this is like actually when you like we're gonna create a menu so that we can like select any of these three languages, And in this line in here, we're saying that, okay, get the value that the user choose from that menu drop down bar, right? But I also want to create like a default value. You see, like when you're filling out a form, it's like select the value, and then like you open the thingy, and then like you can actually choose. So I'm just gonna go select language. That's set. This is like how you set a default value for that. And I'm just gonna go select an option, right? Um, and then after that, I'm just gonna go. What do I want to do? Okay, now I want to go. Let's make it different variable question menu equals option menu. I'm just gonna explain it in a second. Root select language and target language, right? And then I'm just gonna position that question menu dot, and you already know how to do that. That's like the greet function. And then just gonna go in column 1, for example. And so the other one was column 0, row 1. I'm just gonna go column 1 and stay on the same row. So row equals 1. And let's see how it looks like now. If I run it, cool. So I have my label here. Please type in what you want to translate. And then I can translate here. I can put my input data in here, and it says select an option, and it's a menu bar. I open it, and it says, okay, what do you want? French, German, or Spanish? It's just something to say German. Now we have all the information that we need to translate. We have an input, and then we know the target language that we want to translate to, right? It's so cool. So the next thing that we need to do is to actually do the translation, which is like a single line of code, as we saw before. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna define a function. I'm just gonna call that translate, right? This function, what's it supposed to do? I'm gonna go if select language dot get. So what it does is that it says, okay, you choose something from the menu bar. And when I say dot get, it actually gets the value. I'm going to say if that equals French, right? Then what do we want to do? We want to do, where is this? You just like copy this from here. Control X. Let's bring it down here. I'm going to say if that was the case, then translate from English to French. And what do I want to translate? I want to translate whatever the user inputs to the other field. And the other field, if you remember, I called it the original text. So I'm just going to, instead of like this hard-coded value in here, I'm just going to go original text dot get. So get whatever the user puts in that box and translate that to French, right? And elif, you're familiar with this. Elif the select language, the get equals Spanish, for example. Then I want to do let's just copy this line in here so we don't waste time. If that was the case, this doesn't go inside the bracket. Okay. If this equals Spanish, right? Then translated text would be get source is English. This is I think ES was for Spanish, but I guess we'll see. And then translate region text ES, and then else. We only have 3 options. So if it's not French and not Spanish, then it has to be German, right? So I'm just going to if that was the case, then I forget to copy this all the time. So just copy that. And if that was the case, then can translate from English to German. And so we have the translated sentence now, right? So what we need to do with that is that we want to go and say the translated text, right? I want to create a label so that I can output the value, right? It's a label, just like the label that we define up here. Everything is the same, right? I'm just going to go label and then the same window root, and then the text equals translated text, right? Uh, these, they don't really have to be the same. I just can go like text equal that, and then text dot grid, text dot grid. You position it properly wherever you want. I'm just gonna go column equals 0, and then like I'm just want to go to the next row, so row equals 3, if I'm not mistaken. What did I do here? Column. Okay. That looks good. I don't know why it's not happy with me, but it should be okay. COLUMN. That's all good. Takes it great. Okay, cool. And then so we have the label, but how do we actually use this translate button in here, right? Like we need to know how to use that. So what I'm gonna do is to define a button. So button that equals button and root, and text for that bottom is going to be translate. So I want to have a button in the window that says translate, and once you click on it, I want it to run this function and output the value for me. Oh, column equals 3. I don't know why I had 2 equals. So yeah, so the bottom like is in the root window. What it says on bottom would be translate, and I'm just gonna say show it in, I don't know, color red. You can change the color, like make it as fancy as you want. And once you click that, it's gonna run something. It's gonna run this translate function in here, right? So this bottom, let me position the bottom as well. So I just go bottom dot grid, and column equals 0, and then row, just row equals 2. So what happens is that when you click on the bottom, which is positioned here, it goes and runs the translate function. The translate function gets the value from the drop bar menu that we define, and it says if it's French, translate to the French. If it's, I don't know, Spanish, then do Spanish translation, and otherwise do translation to German. And then once it has a translated text, then it creates a label and it outputs the value, right? The translated sentence. So that should be it. Let's run it and see how it works. If I run this now, it opens the thing for me. I can, let's say, hello, my name is Sam, space in here, and it says select an option. We're just gonna go, I don't know, German, and translate. It says however you pronounce that. Hello, my name is Sam. Cool, that worked. We can go Spanish and then like do the translation. It says hola, whatever, the rest of it. No offense to Spanish viewers, I just don't know how to pronounce that. But that's about it. This is how you can make a very easy graphical interface so that you can use this to interact with your Python, and this can be very beneficial and useful. You can actually like play with this a lot. Like you can add like a photo in here to make it look pretty. You can add like more options for languages, and you can do whatever you want. And yeah, this is about today's project. Thank you for watching me. And don't forget to subscribe to support my channel and so that you won't miss the next video. And take care. Bye bye. See you in the next video.